It's so important to get the running starting point right. As we see, Benita, in the first couple of months, it's very easy for people to do a bit too much volume or to start pushing too hard and then often pick up an injury, which really derails the running effort and it can be very demoralizing. Can you help talk us through where it's best for somebody to try and work out where they should start?
A beginner, I would say it's someone that's either never run before or you haven't run for a number of years and you're sort of looking to take it up and get back into it. So a beginner is really someone that thinks, I want to try running again or want to try running for the first time. And really the number of times per week you run as a beginner depends on a few factors. Like age is a bit of a factor. So if you're a bit older, you probably need to be a bit more gradual with your program than if you were, say, in your 20s, because we know that people in their 20s, they're less susceptible to injury. So you probably can get away with running a few more days a week. So I would say beginners 2 to 3 days a week of a run walk program initially. And that could be 1 minute jog, 5 minute walk times 5 or something like that. So you're only really running 5 minutes of running, but the total time of exercise is 30 minutes. So that could be your first thing that you do. So if you're a beginner, don't try to run for 30 minutes straight up in your first run because it's probably going to get you injured or you're going to hate it. And so you've just got to be really gradual. And beginners should really look at sort of shorter distance races first. And then once you've conquered a shorter distance race, then you go on to longer distance races. So if you're a beginner, don't look at training for the marathon straight up. I would go 5K or 10K at the most. And then once you've conquered that, then you progress to the next level. Intermediate runner is someone that has run a bit. Maybe you've run a few times a week over the summer and you run with your mates sometimes, but you don't train consistently. And you can probably run 5K to 10K without stopping. So those sort of people, I would be looking at running probably 3 to 4 times a week. And intermediate runners, you could try little sessions. Like you could do an interval session that could be something like 4 times 2 minutes hard, 2 minutes easy at about 5K pace or a little bit faster in the last one. You could try little hill sessions. You could try little sessions just 1 a week, but I wouldn't be running more than 4 times a week. People at that intermediate level, you might have done a 5K or 10K race before. You could step up to the half marathon, but I'd probably say around 10K is probably a good one for you to be focusing on. And intermediate people, when you're at the intermediate level, you can progress on to be at the advanced level if you just get your training a little bit more consistent and you progressively build up your volume. So people at the intermediate level, you're on your way to probably going to events that are a bit longer than 10K in the future, but you've really got to still make sure you don't train too many times a week. So yeah, 3 to 4 times a week. And then advanced level people, I would say that's someone that has been training consistently for a number of years. You get out there, you've done a few half marathons, you've probably done some marathons, you might have done some ultras, or you've competed quite at a high level in, say, 5K, 10K sort of events. So you're the sort of person that could look at a marathon, and I would be training for advanced 5 to 6 times per week. And if you're an advanced runner, you've got to factor in your work, as all runners do, your work, your family commitments, all those other things outside of the training you're already doing. So you've got to make sure that you've got a good program. If you're running 6 times a week, you've got to really make sure that you know you might be doing a couple of sessions a week, like you might be doing an interval run, a tempo run, a long run to get ready for whatever you're training for. But you could look at longer distance races if you're at that sort of advanced level. And look, some advanced runners run 7 times a week and some advanced runners do a few double days, but that really has to depend on your age, what you're training for, what your running history is, what your work life is like. If you're an advanced runner, there's so many factors going into your program and it's quite a bit more complicated than someone that's just a beginner runner and you're just starting out. A really good strength program, if you can get in 1 to 2 sessions a week, that's like 15 to 20 minutes, and just really basic stuff like squats, walking lunges, tricep dips, things that you can do with your body weight, static holds, things like that. That is really good to do. But then the other cross training that I do set people is riding a mountain bike, or it depends on what you like to do. So I don't set people cross training that they don't like. A lot of people don't like swimming, so I don't set swimming. But things like swimming, water running, riding a bike, can be a stationary bike, or a lot of people like to ride outside on the trails, elliptical. There's so many different things, and it can help supplement a good running program if it's needed.